ShotokuTech, Saturday Story Time. These are the stories that you might have missed while you were caught up in other stories. You're watching ShotokuTech, Saturday Story Time, for July 2020 edition. So we start with this story. Ethiopia is about to begin filling this grand Ethiopian Renaissance dam, and neighboring Sudan is worried because of the risk that it places on their dam, and Egypt is almost entirely dependent on the Nile for its fresh water supplies. They say that all of the technical issues have been resolved after several rounds of negotiations, yet issues remain unresolved in terms of the legality of this, and they're trying to get the United Nations involved. This is very frightening. If you're a country and you can dam a river within your own boundaries, then you still have to consider how it's going to affect your neighbor. So this Godzilla dust cloud from the Sahara Desert made its way to the United States this last weekend, hitting the U.S. Gulf Coast on Thursday and Friday. This is the most significant event in the past 50 years. Extremely poor air quality conditions are dangerous in many Caribbean islands. Air quality could drop to moderate to unhealthy this weekend over South and East Texas due to the dust. This may have made its way as far north as the Ohio Valley and the Mid-Atlantic. So scientists have now discovered a Neptune-sized planet near this young star. AU Microscopii is a nearby star still surrounded by a disk of debris left over from its formation. NASA's Transiting Exoplanet Survey satellite, TESS, and a retired Spitzer Space Telescope report the discovery of a planet about as large as Neptune that circles the young star in just over a week. This is a Dwarf star, AU Mike for short, and it's very young. Our sun is 150 times older than this star. It's only 31 light years away. This star, AU Mike, is so young that it primarily shines from the heat generated as its own gravity pulls it inward and compresses it. Less than 10% of the star's energy comes from fusion of hydrogen into helium in its core, the process that powers stars like our sun. This study has identified a genetic link to an inherited form of autism. Here you can see this corpus callosum is a bundle of white matter connecting the two halves of the brain. Well, this ACTL6B mutated gene that's inherited, you have to get it from both parents. It results in a thinner connection between the two halves of the brain. So this one form of autism, along with epilepsy and some intellectual disability, is linked to this mutated ACTL6B. Most other mutations implicated in autism are spontaneous, which are not inherited. Okay, astronomers believe they have observed the light of 1 trillion suns due to the merging of black holes. When black holes collide, the ensuing cosmic drama was assumed to play out under the black cloak of darkness, given that both objects are already invisible. But now they believe they've made the first optical observation of such a merger, marked by a blaze of light 1 trillion times brighter than the sun. They spotted this gravitational wave at this LIGO observatory. There was ripples sent through the fabric of space, and the latest observations suggest that when these cataclysmic events occur within the accretion disk of an even more gigantic black hole, they are brilliantly illuminated by the surrounding dust and gas, making them also visible to optical telescopes. So this supermassive black hole has been fine for years, and then all of a sudden they observed this more abrupt flare. So they think this flare was likely the result of a black hole merger. So a green glow was detected around Mars. Yes, this Trace Gas Orbiter is a joint European-Russian satellite at Mars. It's the first to make this type of observation beyond Earth. The glow comes from oxygen atoms when they're excited by sunlight. Dr. Manish Patel from the UK's Open University says, "You never plan a mission to go look for this kind of thing. Today, we have to be very clear about the science we're going to do before we get to Mars. But having got there, we thought, well, why don't we take a look?" And it worked. These emissions are the consequences of collisions between atmospheric molecules and charged particles that are racing away from the sun. Okay, I have to be honest, they don't pay me enough for this shit. But NASA wants you to design a toilet for missions on the moon. They've issued a challenge offering $35,000 for the top concept. Space toilets are already in use. They're designed for microgravity only. That's when you're weightless. But the new toilets need to be able to work in lunar gravity, where your excrement will have 1/6 of its weight. So it could bounce off of the bowl. Anyway, I'm not going to delve into this anymore, but I'm waiting for SpaceX to come out with the drop seat on their space outfits. It'll be interesting to see. Elon Musk, ring me up. We can split the 35 grand. Okay, I didn't need to see this, but thank you very much. We're going to stop right now. Okay, if you have any plans for 2021, go ahead and cancel them. Basically, there's a new swine flu detected in China. Has been predominant in swine populations since 2016 and has all of the essential hallmarks of a candidate pandemic virus. Further mutation would allow the virus to transmit more easily between people. So they've been studying this from 2011 to 2018. Around 30,000 swabs from pigs in the slaughterhouse. This virus is similar to H1N1, and there may be some virus adaptation that results in human-to-human transmission. To reduce the potential of spread, researchers have called for new efforts to control the prevailing G4EA H1N1 viruses in pigs and closely monitor human populations, especially workers in the swine industry. Okay, Russia is ignoring requests from the UN, nuclear watchdog, because we see Scandinavian countries, Sweden, Finland, Norway, and the Dutch have all said that they've noticed an uptick in levels of 3 radioactive isotopes, and it seems to have come from the direction of Western Russia. On Saturday, Russia's nuclear energy operator denied that it was the source of the leak and said its plants were all working as usual. Please define usual. Okay, so here are 2 climate-related stories. Basically, the South Pole has been warming 3 times faster than the global average for the past 30 years. Before that, the South Pole was cooling about a degree or so, and then suddenly it's warmed by about 1.8 degrees Celsius over the past 30 years, 3 times the global average. But when we read further into these articles, it's due to changes in the tropic weather cycles. So totally unrelated geography is forcing hotter air into the South Pole, into the Antarctic system. Shifting climate patterns in the tropics probably have played a big part. There is this interdecadal Pacific oscillation. This IPO causes Western Pacific temperatures to swing back and forth between warm and cool phases every couple of decades or so. When the ocean is warmer, it interacts differently with the atmosphere. These atmospheric changes transport more warm air into Antarctica. A massive star has disappeared without a trace. An unusually bright star has gone missing. This is the Kingman Dwarf galaxy. Now, the Kingman Dwarf galaxy is very far away, 75 million light years. It's not close. Astronomers cannot discern individual stars owing to the tremendous distances involved. But this galaxy had this luminous blue variable, or LBV. They're massive and unpredictable stars that are at the end of their lives. So the theory is that it either suffered a dramatic drop in luminosity and is now hiding behind some dust, or it transformed directly into a black hole without the supernova explosion, it would represent just the second known failed supernova. Scientists say whale sharks have teeth on their eyeballs. Talk about that dry, itchy feeling. Whale sharks can grow up to 32 feet in length. This term is dermal denticles. Dermal denticles are essentially tiny structures that look and feel very similar to scales, but they're actually teeth. Shark skin, with its rough, sandpaper-like texture, is also made up of dermal denticles. They help reduce friction in the water, enabling sharks to swim faster. So scientists have their mind around this whole dermal denticle thing, but whale sharks have them on their eyeballs. It's a novel mechanism of eye protection. In addition to this, whale sharks also have this amazingly strong ability to retract their eyeballs into the eye socket. Go whale sharks! Here's an interesting scientific breakthrough. Scientists have accidentally cured Parkinson's disease in mice. This Parkinson's disease is caused by a loss of neurons in a part of the brain, and they've discovered a way of reversing this loss of neurons. Scientists from the University of California in San Diego have sought to better understand the role of protein in the connective cells in the brain, but it seems they've found a way to grow neurons. Parkinson's disease occurs due to a loss of dopamine neurons in a structure located in the midbrain substantia nigra, which is responsible for modulating motor movement. This is why you suffer from tremors, loss of balance, and slowness in movement. There's no cure for it so far, but studying this protein called PTB that turns genes on or off within cells, they silenced the protein in connective cell fibroblasts, and they found that they actually replaced these fibroblasts with neurons. So they grew new neurons, and this could result in a treatment. Okay, let's finish up here. Astronomers believe they've spotted the surviving core of an ill-fated gaseous giant near a distant star. They found a Neptune-sized planet orbiting a star located 730 light-years away. This rocky planet is 39 times as massive as the Earth, and it's orbiting a distant star at a breakneck speed. It may be the surviving core of a planet once perhaps larger than Jupiter that was stripped from its gaseous atmosphere. It is the largest rocky planet ever discovered and would be the first planetary core ever found, offering a unique opportunity to better understand the interior of gas giants like Jupiter, the largest planet in our solar system. This planet is named TOI 849b. It orbits a star that's smaller and cooler than the Sun, and it's only 370 light years from Earth. And a little reminder here, a light year is the distance light travels in a year, or 5.9 trillion miles. Gas giants are composed of a solid core surrounded by a vast atmosphere of mostly hydrogen and helium. This planet could have been a gas giant like Jupiter, but it lost its outer atmosphere through some violent evolution. This could have been because it collided with another planet towards the end of its formation, or ventured too close to its host star and was stripped of its atmosphere. This is from David Armstrong of University of Warwick in England. Hey, I'd be happy to talk to David Armstrong of the University of Warwick in England. If you know this guy, hey, put him in touch with me. We'd be interested to interview him. An alternative is that the planet got stuck while forming, building up a core but failing to collect the gas. So this planet either way ran out of gas, and I'm going to go ahead and end ShotokuTech story time on this note. Make sure to go to this blogspot link here and see all the links to these stories. Give this video a like, leave a comment down below, subscribe, and check out the rest of ShotokuTech Saturday Story Time. Thank you very much. Thank you for watching ShotokuTech Saturday Story Time. Thank you for watching ShotokuTech. Please subscribe, comment, like, and share.